Hello class, we're now in our English class for Thursday, April 16th. And today we're going to continue to talk about predicate parts and action verbs. And where to draw the line between the subject and the predicate. Okay, the predicate part of the sentence tells what the sentence part does or is. An action verb can be the main word in the predicate part. That's an action verb. Can be the main word in the predicate part. Okay, so the objectives of this lesson is to define the predicate part, match a subject part with a predicate part to form a sentence. And to identify the action verb in the predicate part, and to distinguish between the subject part and predicate part of a sentence. Okay, a building that we are familiar with is a church building. It takes tools to build a church. So I'm going to read to you Romans 16 and 5. Romans chapter 16, verse 5. And it reads, "Please give my greetings to the church that meet in their home. Greet my dear friend Ephintus. He was the very first person to become a Christian in the province of Asia." So, in some places, Christians do not have special church buildings. They worship in homes or in other locations. When missionaries need a church building, they often invite people to help them build one. Perhaps some of your parents have been able to help build a church building. The theme of this chapter is building. You're building sentences. The tools for sentence parts and different kinds of words, we use capital letters and punctuation marks. You have learned that sentences have two parts. What part tells who or what the sentence is about? Who or what the sentence is about. That would be the subject part. What part of the sentence tells what the subject part does or is? That is the predicate part. Okay. What is the definition of a sentence? I'm sure you all remember that the definition of a sentence is a group of words that is a complete thought. And what does a vertical line do? When we've been drawing the vertical line, it divides the sentence between the subject part and the predicate part. Okay, in this lesson, you'll learn that an action verb can be the main word in the predicate part. When you find the action verb, you will know where to draw the vertical line between the subject part and the predicate part, the vertical line. Okay. The predicate part can be one word or many words. This part usually begins with a verb. Okay. Now that we know where the predicate part of a sentence began, we can draw a vertical line that separates it from the subject part. The subject part, vertical line, predicate part. Okay. So let's go ahead and do page 279 together. The predicate part tells what the subject part does or is. An action verb can be the main word in the predicate part. The little girl, that will be the subject part, plays on the swing set. Plays is an action verb, and that's the beginning of the predicate part. She plays on the swing set. So in other words, the little girl, the subject, what about the little girl? She plays on the swing set. That is the predicate part. Okay, so we're going to match the subject part with the predicate part on page 279. The subject part is the Smiths in number 1. The Smiths did what? They bought a new swing set. That's the predicate part. So you would draw a line from the Smith to bought a new swing set. Number 2, my baby brother your baby brother what? That's not a complete sentence. That is the subject. And the predicate part is likes to swing. Likes to swing. And number 3, Jade and Matt. What about them? They swing high. The predicate part is swing high. Jade and Matt are the subject part. Number 4, our dog. Our dog does what? He barks at the swing. So our dog is the subject part, and barks at the swing is the predicate part. So now we're going to circle the action verb, draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Okay, so let's look at number 5. The bird makes a nest in a tree. What is the bird doing? He makes. So that is the action verb. And your line would go just before, you would circle the action verb makes. And you would separate the subject from the predicate part by the bird is your subject, makes is your action verb, and makes a nest in the tree is your predicate part. So you would draw a line after bird and before makes. All right, and that line would separate. Number 6, she, that will be your subject part. What does she do? She gathers, that is your action verb. So you're going to put a line between the subject and the action verb. You're going to circle that action verb, gathers. And your predicate part is gather sticks for the nest. Number 7, the bird sits on her eggs. We know that the bird is the subject. Sits is the action verb, where you would draw a line between bird and sits, and you will circle sits. And the predicate part is sits on her eggs. Number 8, the baby birds hatch from the eggs. The baby birds is your subject, and you would draw a line after your subject. Hatch is your action verb, and hatch from the eggs is your predicate. So you would circle hatch as your action verb. Number 9, we saw the babies. We is your subject. Saw is your action verb. So you're going to circle saw, and you're going to draw a line between we and saw, because that would be the line between your subject and predicate. And your predicate is saw the babies. We saw what? The babies. Number 10, the mother bird looks for worms. The mother bird is your subject. Looks is your action verb. So you're going to draw a vertical line between bird and looks. You're going to circle looks because it is the action verb. And the predicate part is looks for worms. Okay, let's continue on to page 280. Page 280 says, write a sentence about something you ate today. Circle the verb, draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. Okay, and you can do that one independently. Now, we're going to match the subject part with the predicate part. The subject part in number 12 is my dogs. Help paint the doghouse? No. Builds the house with wood? No. The dogs wouldn't be doing that. But they would need a new doghouse. My dogs is your subject. And the predicate needs a new doghouse. So you would draw a line over to need a new doghouse. Number 13, Dad. Dad builds the house with wood. So you would draw a line to that one. Number 14, my brother and I help paint the doghouse. So now we're going to circle the action verb, draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part. You should know that, how to do that now. Number 15, the subject part is the dogs. Then you would draw a vertical line. And sleeps, you would circle because it's an action verb, in his house. That's the predicate part. Number 16, spot is your... Okay, if only I could hear you, I know you would say it's your subject. And then you would draw a line between the subject and the predicate because it begins with an action verb, likes. Spot likes his new house. So you would circle likes. Number 17, a cat. That is your subject part, a cat. What does a cat do? He sits, or she sits, or it sits on the green roof. That's your predicate part. So you would draw a line between cat and sits, and you would circle sits because it is the action verb that starts your predicate. And number 18, the dog barks at the cat. The dog is your subject. You would draw a line because the predicate part would be barks at the cat. Barks is your action verb, so you would circle it. And you're going to underline the possessive noun. Remember, we talked about possessive nouns. It means it belongs to someone or something. So Spot's house is red. Or is it Spot house is red? You would underline spot with an apostrophe S because it is showing ownership. Whose house is it? It's Spot's house. Okay, so number 20, the boy or the boy's dad made the house. The boy dad made the house. That is incorrect. So you would, to show possession, the possessive noun would be boys, BOY apostrophe S. The boy's dad made the house. Whose dad? The boy's. So the boy, that's showing possession. So it is a possessive noun. Okay, so that is the end of this lesson. All right.